aerospace in Colorado. Brian, you did a good job talking about it. Let me highlight a few other things here about aerospace. Number one in the nation per capita. Now, California has more aerospace. In fact, California has double the amount of aerospace employees than Colorado. However, they got 4 times the population too. So when you're only double, when you start looking at our state, we're number one in per capita per population when you start looking at the aerospace employees here in our state. 84% of our businesses, oh, by the way, over 400, I think it was 426 our office figured out that we have our registered aerospace companies in Colorado. Now, 84% of those companies are small business. Small business as defined less than 500 employees. However, what is more important to understand is 55% of all those businesses are 10 employees or less in this sector. And the hub of a lot of small business in aerospace is the Boulder Triangle. And I'll say between Westminster, Boulder, Golden, and back, you've got amazing small businesses doing wow stuff. And I walk into businesses, and they've got clean rooms. They've got precision measuring equipment. They've got calibrated equipment, and they're doing advanced technology stuff that, wow, I had no idea. I walked into a business just, it was earlier this week, micro feed horns, this big, going into CubeSat technology. And it's this rapidly developing technology right here in Colorado, right here in that Boulder Triangle. It's a real gem of capability, but it's fueling our aerospace sector, and it's also fueling other technology development across electronics and telecommunications and so forth. And I'll say, although I don't have the data to back this up, so, and I haven't, and no economist has been able to figure this out for me, but half of aerospace in Colorado is just software development. Software for flight controls, for satellite systems, ground control systems, the big data analytics, validation, simulation software, just software that turns all that sensor data that comes off of satellites into real understandable information. So that's a big part of what gets done here in Colorado. Our growth has been, over the past 10 years, approaching 18% in the aerospace sector, where the rest of the nation is a 6% growth. So you can see we've accelerated more. And I attribute that, and I'll tell you, a real catalyst for innovation, technology development in the aerospace industry is CU Boulder. CU has a nationally acclaimed aerospace engineering program. Great to see the students out here tonight. And it's such a catalyst for technology development and business startup. And let me give you an example. I was walking through the engineering center, and a group of students were working on a CubeSat, shoebox size satellite. And they're working on it, and who I thought was a professor overseeing their work is working through, and he's telling me all about it and so forth, what they're doing. Well, this was a business leader. It wasn't a professor. This was a business leader helping teach. Oh, by the way, I got a PhD from CU Engineering, was back helping teach, but also taking a lot of knowledge back to his business. Now, this is a program funded by NASA under the Space Grant Consortium, and helping develop this technology and helping teach and train. Oh, by the way, taking back to his business a lot of knowledge that he can apply directly to his business. Not CU funded, but NASA funded. NASA is very open to transfer of technology and knowledge to help grow business. And so there they are. So you see this business collaboration just growing right there. Oh, by the way, you can see it in multiple engineering departments at CU. So you look at this university. At the core of this innovation triangle is a university. And if you look at other places in our nation, whether it be a Silicon Valley or the North Carolina triangle, you see at the core of it a university system spurring technology growth and innovation and a lot of business startups. And right here in Colorado happens to be our flagship university, University of Colorado up in Boulder. spent time in Boulder today working with the Vice Chancellor on a program on how we better collaborate with our federal labs and develop this space sector. So couldn't be more proud of CU. By the way, I work with many other universities, not just CU. I work with Metro State on developing their engineering sciences program and Advanced Manufacturing Institute. Did some strategic planning with Metro State as they try to transition out of kind of a old nighttime school college to a full-up meet this workforce of the future needs. And they really got it going, and Dr. Jordan there is really leading Metro State into the future they need to be. And I also work with the University of Colorado and Colorado Springs on this cyber task force and helping Colorado Springs become or the university, UCCS, become a catalyst for business development in Colorado Springs. Here's an issue, though. We're still heavily government funded in aerospace in Colorado. NASA, Department of Defense, NRO, NGA, you can go all through all three-letter acronyms, agencies. And so we are heavily anchored on government programs, government funding. The roots of aerospace in Colorado is Department of Defense post-World War II, development of the ICBM system out in Waterton Canyon with the old Martin facility out there, Martin Marietta, and then became Lockheed Martin. But that's the roots of really what started here. And the CU, by the way, developing way early on, post-World War II, a high-altitude testing program, atmospheric testing, which later led into the aerospace development program. So that's really has been the roots. We still are heavily government-funded. CU, by the way, which was mentioned, #1 in the nation in NASA grant funding, more than any other public institution. Now, why is that? Well, as a state, we don't fund higher education very well. So that's one reason. Two is they've really got a world-class engineering, aerospace engineering program, and they have to be more aggressive at grant funding for research because state dollars are not there as maybe some other states provide their university system. Let me talk about our business climate. We have, and I meet with a lot of businesses. Oh, by the way, California does a good job of selling Colorado. And I meet with businesses from California that are looking to relocate, expand, and grow operations in Colorado. And it's not just aerospace, it's a lot of software type companies. And so our business climate is very attractive. They look at corporate tax rates, they look at labor rates, they look at utility rates, and it all adds up into very positive. We have a government, state legislature. Our governor is very pro-business and policies. We have a very educated and talented workforce. 36% of our workforce has college degrees. They look at our university system to support continuing education. And that's a big factor in business attractiveness. They look at a dynamic innovation system. I talked about the Boulder triangle, if you will. But we have 30 federal labs in Colorado. 30 federal labs. Not too many people know that. A lot located in the Boulder area. But that adds $2.3 billion of economic output, 8,000 jobs for Colorado due to federal labs in Colorado. But what that also does, it attracts talent. It's also a catalyst through federal grant funding and small business innovative research grants into a lot of innovation technology grants. It helps build this economic cluster, this industry cluster, this R&D cluster that's so important for that technology to be developed and then transferred to business. And I'll tell you the other thing that still adds up of why businesses come to Colorado is our mountains still sell. And especially to this population growth I was talking about, those mountains are attractive. And it's a lifestyle, it's an outdoorsy lifestyle. They're still there, and I've met with some recent businesses that were looking, in fact, a business closed down operations in another state, and they've consolidated, expanded operations in Colorado. It happened to be a defense industry business. But I asked, why Colorado? And it goes, well, we could get our people to move to Colorado. We couldn't get them to move to this East Coast location. We could get them to, the people we wanted to keep, we could get them to move to Colorado. So this lifestyle that Colorado has is still attractive to business growth. A big part also of our economy I need to mention is defense. Recently, the state had funded last year a study on the defense infrastructure or defense economy. It was run through the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs. The end result was the governor released the study the end of May this past year. It was a $27 billion economic factor due to defense in Colorado. And that has to include not only the payroll salary from our defense installations, which includes active duty and civilian personnel, was $7 billion. 5 major installations here in Colorado. And so payroll alone was $7 billion, but when you look at all the other defense funding and procurement, those dollars add up. Right here in Centennial, United Launch Alliance has been the sole DoD, Department of Defense provider for launch capability. And those launches aren't inexpensive. When you talk about a couple $100 million launch, they add up. When you talk about a GPS satellite that may be $800 million, they add up. So when you really look at defense, Colorado Springs is a heavy defense economy. When you really look at the big dollars in Colorado, it's actually a lot of it right here in the greater Denver area due to the defense companies. And I'll tell you, the Lockheeds and the Boeings and the Raytheons and Northrop Grumman's, the Ball Aerospace, Sierra Nevada, all have defense contracts.